Welcome into this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here in snowy Oxford. You don't have a chance to say that very often, but it has been snowing a good bit of all day, a good bit of the night as well, and it's actually powder. It's not even really icy. It's pretty much all snow and all powder outside. Here, kids are in school, people are at work, so what are we? Well, 12 o'clock today for today's podcast, just afternoon as we hit the record button. We'll talk a lot of college football today. The final game of the 2020 season tonight, 7-0 Ohio State, 12-0 Alabama. So we'll discuss that. We'll also discuss a couple national columns today regarding was the season worth it now that it has reached a conclusion. So we'll get to that. I would assume imminently here on the show. Show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Download the Speed Pass Plus app. Use it. It's a sufficient way to pump right there. Now to go inside, you can pay on the app. You can get on with your day, and you also earn points. When you earn points, you save money with all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi, including the Oxford Exxon. And go get your lunch special, $5.69, 2 sides, bread, 32-ounce drink. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. Send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around if you'd like, or you can do what I've done. But I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guests will join us throughout the week on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Be a great place this weekend. Coming up, watch NFL divisional playoffs on Saturday and Sunday. You've got Ole Miss and Georgia basketball Saturday morning at 11. So be a fun place to hang out all day if you're in Oxford. And if you're not in Oxford, you can go to the one in New Albany. It's there as well. Great burgers, po' boys, shrimp, catfish, all that kind of thing. Rafters, Music, and Food on the Square in Oxford. Yeah,
NFL divisional round. Typically, the most fun weekend of the NFL season is the divisional round. You get the one, and you get traditionally the 1 and the 2 seeds playing. You get the 1 and 2 seeds this year playing as well because the 2 seeds won their games over the weekend. So, a lot of that. We'll get to a little NFL today as well. If you guys joined us yesterday for our Bears-Saints wildcard watch party, thank you for that. Had a good numbers. Made it worth it. It was fun to do that. So, we'll get into some NFL. Quickly, the schedule for next week. I will find that real quick just because I knew what time the Saints play, but I actually don't know what time any of the other games are. So next week on Saturday, the Rams and the Packers lead things off. That is a game in Lambeau, obviously, the 1 seed against the 6 seed. That's a 3:30 start on Saturday, 3:35 start on Saturday. That's a Fox game. And your nightcap, 7:15, is the Ravens and the Bills on Saturday. That game is on NBC from Orchard Park. And then on Sunday, kicking things off at 2:05, the Cleveland Browns at the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, a 1 and a 6 game, and then the final game of the weekend, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New Orleans Saints from the Superdome, 5:40 on Fox for that one. Last night, the Browns jump out to a 28-0 lead. Really, kind of game was never in doubt. I will say, when we'll get to NFL in a little bit, probably more. Tomlin, though, when he cut that thing, did you watch any of this? That Tomlin cutting this thing to 2 scores at one point and having 4th and 1 and not going for it was one of the strangest things I've ever seen.
It was bizarre. Yeah, I watched that whole game. Went to bed as soon as it was over, but it was a fun game. Cleveland jumped out to that huge lead, and then here come the Steelers, and
you knew they were going to make some semblance of a run. In your head, you're going, God, please don't do this to Cleveland. Of all people, just don't do this to Cleveland, please. Yeah. I'd love to. I didn't go check out any Browns message boards or anything, but you have to think they were going, oh, my God, it's happening. Oh, my God, it's happening for 4 straight quarters. Because, Ole Miss people, you think you guys have some scar tissue. The Browns, expecting every negative thing that can possibly happen. So, but it was fun. I'm glad to see Cleveland for another week. That was kind of entertaining. They've definitely got their work cut out for them now with the Chiefs in Arrowhead on Sunday afternoon. But nonetheless, we'll get into that. Neal's picks is up. Obviously, last game of the college football season. We picked that. During the end of the week last week as well. Bama and Ohio State. We talked about a little bit about this yesterday, Neal, and I guess toward the end of the week, and it kind of segues into what we're going to talk about for a little bit. You typically would not really care to perennially successful programs playing one another. There's not a lot of intrigue. There is no parity whatsoever. The best teams usually make the playoff, and the same teams compete every single season. However, you do have a horse that you're favoring in this one tonight.
Yeah, I normally would only watch this game because Chris Landry and I would be talking about it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost begrudgingly watch it. And I'm not going to be glued to it, if I'm honest. But I do hope Alabama wins. And I hope Alabama wins big. And it has nothing to do with Alabama. It has everything to do with the SEC, which I know gets a lot of criticism here on the stream, on our site. And I'm cool with that. But I also know over the course of the summer, the pressure that was on Greg Sankey and the SEC staff to not play college football. To not play. To not even try. To call it quits. The Big Ten did it. The Big Ten called it quits. They said, can't be done. Can't be done. Pac-12 said, you got that right. We're not playing. No chance in hell. Too dangerous. Those rednecks in the South, I can't even believe they're thinking about it. And let me tell you, if on August the 10th or whatever that was, that date, I should remember it. I don't, right off the top of my head. If on that date, Greg Sankey had said, you know what? I don't think we can get this done. Let's call it. Someone declare a time of death. Chase, there's no football season. They wouldn't have revisited it. There would have been no football season. It's not a guess. It's not a supposition. There would have been no football season. But because Greg Sankey said, and the people in the SEC office said, and because people around the league said, you know what? I don't know that we can do this. But we owe it to ourselves, to the student athletes, to the coaches, to the support staff, to the people whose livelihoods depend on it. We owe it to give it every last shot. You know, it's funny. I'm soapboxing today, so everybody just prepare yourself. I had this conversation with Caroline today. We were talking about her trying out for the Palm Squad at Arkansas, the dance team. And I said, you know, all you can do is give it everything you've got. Give it everything you've got. No cop-out where you say, I'm going to pray about it and whatever happens, happens. That's a cop-out. I said, give it everything you've got. Blood, sweat, tears, everything you've got. Give it all you've got. Work as hard as you can. And then when you're through trying out, that's when you say, and forgive me for anybody who gets offended by religion. This is about to be a religious thing. That's when you say to God, I did all I could do.
Mm-hmm.
I tried as hard as I could. It's in your hands, and I'm good with it. I'm good. And that's what the SEC did, minus the religion part, though I suspect some prayers were thrown up, if I'm honest.
Sure.
We're going to do all we can do so that one of two things happens. We either play or we get to a place where we realize that we can't play. And either way, there's peace. And the SEC did that. And to the ACC's credit, they said, okay, we're a little nervous, but okay. And then the Big 12 said, we just needed somebody. We couldn't do this alone. We're in with you. Let's go.
Yeah, sure.
And here we are. And kudos to the Sun Belt and to the AAC and the others who went, yep, we're in. You're in. We're in. It's kind of like the college baseball thing. Yeah. You guys want to do 3 games? We'll do 3 games. That's fine. Yeah. Let's get this done. Practicality. And so the answer to the question.
And knowing pecking order and knowing, hey, you guys are in charge. Tell us what we're doing. Let's figure out the best way to do this, and then we'll fall in. Yep. We'll do this. I mean, there's a system to this, that everything was needed throughout this process. The SEC needed the ACC, and then the Big 12 wanted to be in anyway, but you needed that just for the public perception of it, 3 out of 5. Yep. If you're by yourself, you're idiots. If there's 2 out of, well, Southern, whatever, then the Big 12 comes in, and all of a sudden the Big 10 goes, well, shit.
So when people say, who are you for tonight? I'm for Alabama. Why? I mean, without the history, because a lot of talk, the media talk tonight, if Alabama wins, is going to be about Saban passing Bryant and all that, and that is absolutely significant.
Sure.
I'm for it because I want the SEC people in attendance tonight to be able to stand down there on the damn podium or off to the side of the podium, all masked up and everything with the confetti falling on them. And I want them to have that moment because, quite frankly, I think they deserve it. And quite frankly, people like you and me should owe them thanks. The next time I see Greg Sankey in person, I will say thank you. Thank you. So I hope they have a moment of satisfaction tonight where they feel like they won something. Because you know what? They did. And so when people ask the question, was it worth it? Yes. It was absolutely worth it. It was 100% worth it. And tonight is bigger than Alabama versus Ohio State. It's bigger than who's leaving with the gold trophy thing that looks like a beer tap. It's different than that. This is a victory of perseverance, of diligence, of determination. That's what it is. This should be a night of celebration, not a night of looking back and going, boy, I tell you, it was really hard. And sometimes you wonder, would we have done it all over again? Well, how many times? I can tell you this. When I finished a marathon, if you'd asked me right then, was it worth it? Would you do it again? Oh, no, not right this damn moment. No, I just want a beer. I want to go get off my feet. I want to take a bath. Ask me 2 days later, was it worth it? Hell yeah, it was worth it.
It's what's dumb about this is, and we're referencing two different, it's really the entire college football national media community for the most part, but we're referencing 40 and Wilkins columns today. The phrasing is what is so dumb. Was it worth it? As far as I'm aware of, there have been no significant injuries or ailments from COVID. Multiple people in multiple stories have said there has been no spreading from actual competition, that everything is just community and the way we're traveling and all that kind of stuff. Nothing actually on the field causing this. Nobody said it was easy. Nobody said that, for some people it really freaking sucked. And that everybody's exhausted and tired, and yes, there are lots of negatives to it.
Sure.
If you want to talk about those and phrase it in that way, sure. But when you phrase it of, was it worth it? Because of what? Dan Wolken led his thing with Will Healy talking about, hey, they had a bunch of games canceled. Yeah, they did. They had like 9 games canceled. I think they finished 2-4. He had to, I'm sure it sucked for Will Healy. Will Healy over and over and over again had to call meetings in odd times right before games and go, guys, we can't play again.
Sure.
I know, it sucks, whatever. He had his last game of the season canceled, and he did a make-through tunnel for his seniors to run through one more time at practice to give them something. Yep. It sucked. But his players played 6 games. He's going to have a lot of memory. He's going to have a lot of perseverance through this. Even Will Healy was not asked the direct question, was it worth it? Because, yes, it was worth it.
Yes, because it was worth it.
Yeah. There were difficulties, but it was worth it. That's not the same thing.
Well, and here's the thing. This is the part that drives me crazy. At no point did anyone associated with this back in the summer, because believe me, I hung on every last word.
Yeah, sure.
At no point did anyone say, hey, this is going to be easy. We got this. No. That's not what they said. They said this is going to be hard. There are going to be cancellations. There are going to be suspensions. There are going to be postponements. Guys are going to have to get tested a bunch. There's going to be contact tracing. It's going to get frustrating. It's going to be difficult. Everyone said that. So when it's exactly like that, why can't the media who wanted and cheered against it and who wrote the stories saying, can't be done, shouldn't be done, we're bigger than this, we're better than this, I can't believe we're selling our souls.
The darkest day in college football history.
Darkest day in college football history, college student history, and people are going to die. Why can't they write, hey, thank God we were wrong?
Yeah, as I put on the message board this morning, I haven't seen where Dennis went back and interviewed that Illinois statistician again.
Of course not. Of course not. By the way, Kyle, thank you for the super chat. And I'm glad the students at Alabama are lined up at the bars. The students, most of them have already gotten it, and they're fine. Celebrate. It's your team's playing for the national title. But I think it would suck tonight if the Big Ten won, because I know how hard behind the scenes the Big Ten pushed for everybody else to cancel. And no one wants to write about what canceling means, because apparently it's politically incorrect to acknowledge that people have to have money to live. We can't acknowledge that anymore, that money makes the world go round. Money makes the world go round. How many people's jobs were saved by them playing football? A lot. Was it worth it? Hell yes, it was worth it. Was it ideal? No, because these young people train and they work their asses off, and a lot of it is so that they can run out through the T or through the A or through the M or whatever the hell letter of the alphabet you want it to be, and play in front of 85,000 or 62,000 or 108,000. And they didn't get to do that. And sometimes they played games where their families weren't even allowed to go.
Yeah.
But they did it. No, we should applaud them all. That's the shame of it all, is that tonight, even all of the other teams that didn't make it to this point, that they can't be at the game to get a standing ovation because they deserve one. The kids, no joke, at Ole Miss, at Tennessee,
everywhere,
at UAB, at Michigan State, the kids who did it all year. It's a victory. Tonight's a victory. This is the finish line. This is something that a lot of people said you could not get to, and they got to it. And so now people want to go back and go, well, I tell you, it was really difficult, and it really wasn't worth it. And that's crap.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any, and I mean any, long-term negatives from this. None.
No.
Nothing. I mean, if so,
well,
let me know.
I'll tell you what the long-term negatives are?
Sure.
The money that got lost because you couldn't put people in the stands.
Well, yeah, sure, yeah.
There's your negative.
Yeah, economically,
Economically, they'll be picking up the pieces for years to come.
Yeah.
But this was a victory. This was a...
In a normal season, Ole Miss would have made about $35 to $40 million. They made like 9.3 or 12.3 or something.
They'll be making that up for years to come.
Whatever the number is.
Yeah. But the victory is, I tweeted this today. Was it worth it? Hell yeah, it was worth it. A lot of memories got made. A lot of things happened. A lot of positive things happened. Look around the country. Young people learned a lesson. Isn't that what it's supposed to be? We're going to do the student-athlete thing. Well, the student thing implies learning. And sometimes life's not fair. And sometimes the odds are stacked against you. And sometimes you can't win, but you got to finish the damn game the right way. And they did. They showed up, and they did it. They showed up for all the tests, and they did all the contact tracing stuff, and they wore a mask, and they did all the things that we asked them to do. And there were some rewards. I'm glad there's going to be a championship game tonight. I just hope an SEC team wins it. I wish it were a different SEC team because it might be more fun to see somebody else do it, but Alabama's in the SEC, and so I hope they win the game, and I hope it's an absolute train wreck of a bloodbath.
What'd you pick, score-wise?
I picked Alabama to cover, and I'll be honest, it was cheerleading.
Wasn't a lot of science put into that.
If you told me Alabama could win 59-0 tonight, I would gleefully sign up.
You'd watch.
I might cut myself and sign in blood.
And you'd watch.
No, I'd watch every second.
Yeah, you'd be in on that one.
Yeah. I would even enjoy Saban yelling at his fourth string in the fourth quarter while he takes his mask on and off. I'd giggle. Yeah, I'm seriously, I think some of the criticism of the SEC and of Sankey and all this is valid. I think when people talk about, that there's some things that haven't been taken care of, I get it, I understand. But tonight, I hope that people can put some of that aside and go, that's that guy and his Hussey and some of the other people that were in that room, that were in that building during those decision-making times. I hope that people understand that what they did was courageous. Because there was a lot of people in our field that were just lobbing salvos at them.
Sure.
And they
couldn't believe that they wouldn't rush a decision. You know what I mean? Not even that he hadn't made a decision, but hey, why are you not going ahead and saying no? Because Greg Sankey, to his credit, basically in interviews to people we know in general, he goes, we're just going to take it one day at a time.
Yep.
Today we're going to play. Tomorrow we're going to play. The next day we're going to play. Yep. And we're going to keep doing that day after day after day until somebody proves we can't play. And that's it.
That's it.
That's all we're doing. We're not saying this is going to be perfect in October or November or December or on January the 11th. We're just going to say tomorrow it's fine.
And admitted
there could be stuff all over the place.
That we just might not get there. Never said, oh, yeah, we're going to start. And we're going to finish.
We're going 71 for 71.
In fact, he privately and publicly told people, I don't even know that we can get to the starting line.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I go back to my thing that I told Caroline. Give it all you've got. Be able to wake up the day after that is announced.
Sure.
One of two, you're going to have one of two emotions. So I told her, joy, because you made it, or peace. I could not have done more.
Mm-hmm.
I could not have done more. I could not have worked harder. There were no more hours in the day. I did all I could do. I got in the best shape I possibly could. I got focused. I did everything I possibly could do. And I make it or I don't.
There's a whole hell of a lot of difference in being upset and having regret. That you didn't do enough, that you didn't try, that you didn't whatever, or you know what? There's a contentment in just upset. Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
I wasn't good enough.
I tried.
We weren't good enough. We couldn't do it.
That's what I told her. I said, if you give it everything you've got and then you don't make it, must be one hell of a team.
Sure.
Must be one hell of a team.
Yeah.
Good for them. Move on.
Yeah.
And I think that was the SEC's approach. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to do all that we can do. We're going to turn every stone, every leaf. We're going to do everything, whatever cliche you want to use. We're going to go the distance and do everything we can to do this. And if we get to a place where it becomes obvious that we simply can't,
then okay.
Then as much as that will suck and as much as that will hurt and as much as we know that acknowledgement will mean the loss of jobs, the loss of livelihood, the loss of a lot. We also know that, hey, we'll be at peace with the fact that we did all we could do. Yeah. We did all we could do. And here's the other thing that it meant. I'll use us as an example. Every Saturday, for 10 Saturdays, we had a community here. People enjoyed it. Ole Miss won games. Ole Miss lost games. Ole Miss won some emotional games. They lost some emotional games. But people enjoyed it. There is something to sports, certainly college sports. It's one of the reasons that college basketball is so hard to watch. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there's something to sports about it. It brings people together, and there's a sociological impact, a psychological impact. College sports provided one of the things college sports is supposed to provide, an escape throughout the season.
Yeah, we'll segue on that. I got a couple different thoughts there. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float-down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Lammons Fine Jewelry in Oxford. Don't forget, if you're thinking about Valentine's Day, that kind of thing, go to lammonsfinejewelry.com or give them a call, 662-234-2777. Whether it's an engagement, whether it's you're looking for pearls, fashion jewelry, watches, whatever the case may be for the significant person in your life as Valentine's Day gets closer, remember the people at Lammons. It's lammonsfinejewelry.com. Again, 662-234-2777. We're also brought to you by our friends at Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. It's the name you can trust. They bring more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience to Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. Comer Heating and Air is offering a special fall preventative maintenance agreement to make sure your heating system is running in tip-top shape. Make sure to give them a call at 662-801-1777 for all of your heating and cooling needs. And we're brought to you by Muddy Water Camo. Go to muddywateroutdoors.com. That's muddy, M-U-D-D-Y, wateroutdoors.com. Enter promo code Rebel Grove, and throughout the month of January, you're going to get 35% off on heated jackets or anything else on the site throughout the month of January. Order one of those heated jackets, you get 35% off, and they'll also throw in a free MyCharge portable battery charger. It's a $49 value, and that's with every Tri-Zone heated jacket or vest purchased throughout the month of January. Free shipping as well. Those Tri-Zone heated jackets and vests are super cool. We got 3 temperature settings, obviously low, medium, high, a triple zone heating with 2 elements in the chest, a large back element, duck goose down insulation, windproof shell fabric, water-resistant finish, iPhone charging cable inside the chest pocket as well. So check all of that out at muddywateroutdoors.com. Again, promo code Rebel Grove.
Podcast also brought to you by Northeast Spark, SPARC. We're literally powered by Spark right now. It's doing a hell of a job for us over the last month or so. Stands for service people across rural communities. They have a couple different packages. The Ignite, that's 100 megabytes per second. They've got the Blaze, that's all the way up to 1 gig per second. Your hometown bringing you world-class broadband. You can find out more at www.nespark, again, SPARC.com. or give them a call, 662-238-3159. They've got phone service available. They also offer parental controls, network security, wireless mesh extenders, and much more. So if they're in your area and it is an option for you, definitely check them out again, nespark.com. So, well, I mean, we heard it yesterday. I mean, we were doing Saints-Bears. It was in no way work. We're just kind of hanging out, watching the game, talking to people. We had good numbers on the stream. Just sort of, in a lot of ways, because, I mean, we talked about this. I can get a little weird during games, and I was trying to decide, okay, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? And what I miss is watching playoff games with people. I mean, I talk about, like, being by myself and stuff, but, I mean, I miss years ago when I had a bunch of buddies in town and you're watching the game and whatever, and COVID's hurt that in a lot of ways this year, and I thought, you know what, this is the closest I got to that. Let's hang out, let's talk about it, let's do whatever, and somebody there at the end of the stream, I don't remember who it was, said, hey, this was fun for adults just to kind of get together and talk for a little while. 3 hours. Well, I mean, I care about the game. Some people on the stream cared about the game, but most people were just hanging out. They didn't really give a crap.
I was devastated.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Neal barely got up this morning. He called me and was like, I don't know if we can podcast or not. So it shows what's happened in the Ole Miss games when we've done it throughout the watch parties and the hand raise guys and the scoreboard business to an nth degree. It created normalcy. It created an escape. It created a community. And this is in no way political, and I'm going to move on in 5 seconds. It also created a community, and is our community when the internet is falling apart with a lot of communities right now. There are not a lot of places where you're not inundated with political different situations that are either stressful or complicated or everybody going at one another's throats, where it is just cool. Come hang out. Let's not judge anybody. Well, we might have some opinions, and we'll move on in 5 minutes. Those spaces on the internet are dwindling by the day. So when that's not when you can run into something like what we have right here, and that's not the case, and we're watching football or we're following sports, and sports have been different since they came back, but there's still a lot of times where college football has created that community, created that normalcy, given you that thing to kind of look forward to, and where you know is always going to be there. In months of uncertainty, we're worried about economics, and we're worried about, are we able to go here, and what about masks, and what about vaccines, and all these different things. You didn't have to worry about this. You're here. Here's what we're going to do, and here's something for us to look forward to for a few days.
Yeah, I mean, how many people in Cleveland last night
got
3.5 hours of excitement? Some nerves, but joy at the end. The Browns win a playoff game. How many people in Buffalo on Saturday got to enjoy a playoff win?
Yeah.
I mean, those are cool. That's what sports is supposed to be about, so. I mean, the answer to the question, I haven't read Wilkins. I have no idea what he wrote. I've read most of Ross and Pat's.
I wrote a lot about the rifle. I mean, the Charlotte team. It was a lot of Will Healy before he kind of moved on.
Yeah. He went looking for the worst one he could find.
He found the guy who had to cancel the most games.
Yeah, and went negative. Ross prevented the other story from going negative. He kept it in the middle.
Yeah, because it was balanced.
He kept it in the middle of the road.
Well, because one of their main guys, the Penn State dude, still said, yeah, it was worth it. Talked about all the crap and all the difficulty, and then went, yeah, it's worth it. It's fine. Like the Penn State tight end or something. I forget his name.
At the end of the day, most of these guys, they spend the off-season training. They want to play football. You want to play. What would Saturdays have been like all fall? I've thought about it every single Saturday, but I often wondered how many people out there think about what I'm thinking about. How many people get up on a Saturday? Because I would get up on a Saturday and go, all right, it's game day, and I was getting everything ready to go and all that stuff, and there was never a time that I wasn't sitting here sort of putting the stream together and stuff that I didn't think to myself, what would today be like if there was no football? What would I be doing? Would there be money in my bank account? How many subscribers would I have lost? Because I gained subscribers in 2020. How many subscribers would I have lost? How many advertisers would I have lost? Because we made more advertising money than we made in 2019, in 2020.
Yeah.
How many advertisers would I have lost? I know I don't come across as a super spiritual person. There wasn't a single Saturday that I didn't throw one up going, hey, thanks. I wondered how many people thought about that. How many people like frankly, Wolken and 40, were they ever able to put their agenda aside enough to go, what would it have been like if there were no football? When Gannett makes the call and goes, hey, guys, got to lay you off. Nothing you did, but, there's no games. Because if there's no football, there's no basketball.
No.
No baseball.
Nothing else happens.
Nothing else happens. So it's just a dead school year. That's what it would have been. NFL was going to play a bunch of games on Saturday. Ask me how I know. They had a plan.
I mean, even now when you talk about it and you think about it, you go, oh, my God.
I mean, I wonder how many times people ask themselves, hey, what would have happened if? That day that Ole Miss beat Kentucky in overtime. And everybody was like, woo, this is great. We won a game. What would that day have been like had there been no game?
Yeah.
You going to stream? What you going to stream? How many times can you watch The Office? That's coming from somebody who's watched The Office 15 times. How many times can you watch The Office? Are you going to go back and watch Breaking Bad for the 8th time?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? The emotional toll that it would have taken on people, not just if had you lost college football, but just had you lost sports. I mean, for a lot of people, that would have been a really bad thing. People just refused to talk about it. People refused to acknowledge that it took courage to do what they did, and that courage should be applauded today, tomorrow, moving forward. That's kind of my soapbox. And it's not even a soapbox. I think it's speaking gospel.
Oh, I mean, look, it's a celebration time. Like I said, tonight, I mean, the NFL playoffs show no even a little bit of sign of not fulfilling their finish coming up. I mean,
they're going to get there.
Yeah, they're going to get there. They're going to play a normal schedule this weekend.
Yeah, they're going to play.
Whatever that looks like.
They're going to play 4 divisional playoff games.
Yeah.
And then a week later, they're going to play the 2 championship games. They're going to take a weekend off, and they're
going
to play a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And someone's going to hold a trophy, and I got to be honest, as much as we love to make fun of Roger Goodell, that dude never blinked.
Not even.
He didn't blink.
They changed, other than some preseason games and some camps work, they changed nothing. I mean, they had to move stuff around. They were flexible. They were good. But.
And, people moved stuff this year. People did things differently. They had to change the way they do camps. They had to change the way they did preseason. You had to change, Ole Miss didn't play LSU on the day they were supposed to play LSU. They played LSU 2 weeks later. It all worked out. There was never a promise that it was going to be a smooth ride. In fact, there was a promise this is going to be a really bumpy ride. Buckle up, make sure your airbag works, and understand there's a real chance we're going to have a crash or two.
Yeah.
In fact, I can promise you we're going to crash at some point. Hope you survive. Here we go. Oh, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it,
that's cool.
It's cool. Your scholarship's protected. You can opt out. No one's going to say anything. Can't promise that you're not going to get judged, but you're not going to lose your scholarship. If you don't want to play, you don't have to play. That got said. Oh, and you know what? We're this rigid organization that normally can't do anything right, but in this case, we're going to do one thing right. We're not going to cost anyone a year of eligibility. We're not going to let this year count against you. This would be a lot. Was it worth it? Hell yeah, it was worth it. Truth is, that's a dumb question.
That was my whole point. The question was stupid.
Yeah.
But it was the question that got clicks. So
and that's why I did it. The answer is yes. I guess they wanted people to talk about it, so I'm talking about it. And I'll be accused of being everything under the sun. Yes, it was worth it. We should also point out at the end, as you said, nobody died.
No, I'm not aware of any.
We're told there would be COVID deaths if you played. Well, there weren't any.
That Dennis Dodd story with the statistician at the beginning of the season or before the season, it predicted 7 football deaths or more.
7 or more?
Yeah.
How many we get?
I'm not aware of any.
So none?
I'm not aware of an hospitalization. I could be wrong. If there's 1 or 2, forgive me.
Nobody died?
But I don't. Well,
so 0's less than 7?
It is, yes.
That right there is why people hate media. Go back and call the same guy and go, hey, why do you think you were so wrong? Why do you think you were so off?
Because you could applaud college football. Go, hey, well, they were really safe. They did this. They did this. They were flexible. They did all these different things. That could have been the story that was written today. Going, hey, you know what? Here's why they made it. Here's everything that went through. Here are the tough decisions. Here were the days that sucked for Greg Sankey, but here's how they made it.
So, do you think Christine Brennan will write that tonight's one of the brightest nights in the history of college athletics?
Probably not. It was her, wasn't it?
Yeah, sorry. Darkest day. Darkest day. Yeah, Mark says, did they even go into how many jobs got saved because the season got played? Did they write about that? Did they write about all the jobs that were saved?
I haven't seen that. Thousands.
Yeah. And the ripple effects of those jobs being saved?
Well, and not even like, football job. I mean, just university jobs, because at least the money you were able to bring in. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't typical. It wasn't normal, but it was something that allowed, fewer cuts, fewer furloughs, fewer layoffs. Gave you at least the possibility of saving and having some salvation there.
So, I don't know. I'll stop beating it up, but yeah, I'm for Alabama tonight. Hope they win. Happy for the league. Appreciative to the 5 leagues that made this happen this year.
It's close if Fields goes crazy, but otherwise it's just hard to see it.
Yeah.
He's got to play the game he played last time again.
Najee going to play?
I thought so. Yeah, I thought I saw that.
Yeah, Devontae Smith going to play?
Yeah.
I like Alabama.
I'm pretty sure those two are playing. So, yeah.
Hard to. I tend to agree with Reggie Bush. We said, how do you stop Najee Harris?
Yeah.
He said, prayers, hopes, and wishes.
Prayers, hopes, and wishes.
Yep.
Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. Still deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync for your prescription same day each month to take care of you, whether it be to stop in and pick up or deliver. You have the medicine you need when you need it. And with Right Way Meds, they'll even individually package your medication to make sure you get it at the hours and the times every single day. They can go about saving lives if you know someone who needs that level of attention. Again, Tyson Drugs or G&M, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by the College Corner. They sponsor our Soft Verbal podcast. Zach and I taped earlier today. I'll bring that to you on YouTube in a little bit. I will also put that in audio form. I'm going to put it in the Oxford Exxon podcast feed, in the main feed. So be looking for it when it pops up. So you'll get a double dose of us today. That's the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. One is in Ridgeland. It's next to Fleet Feet, and the other's in Flowood next to Half Shell. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com, and you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, and study your expenses, put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. Cookie-cutter financial planners put you in a box. Pinnacle Trust builds a box just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John was just showing me the other day. Let's see if I can pull this up. I hit the wrong button there. Here it is. Here's an example of something that you can get right now for a lot cheaper than you could get it in 2019 and for a lot cheaper than you'll get it later this summer. Spacious ocean view suites that include butler service, dining options with fine French cuisine, to family-style Italian, free-flowing drinks, including your favorite wines, spirits, champagnes. Silver Sea Cruises knows a thing or two about the all-inclusive experience, and now fares include round-trip air and shore excursions on all expedition voyages. Will be available on classic voyages starting April of 2022. You can book that now. Between now and February the 28th, you'll enjoy up to 20% off and a special $500 ship board credit there when you deal with people like John Edwards at Regency Travel. 901-494-3387. J. Edwards at regencytravel.net.
You're just gonna watch the main broadcast tonight if you turn it on. Not gonna get into all the other stuff.
Oh, I might flip around a little and see if anything strikes me, but I'll probably watch mostly the main one. What about you?
Yeah, the main one. I mean, I think I always flip over to the film room stuff because, I mean, occasionally if it's the right guys, it's kind of interesting and I might learn something and whatever. But here's the problem. You're watching the film room. You're not watching the game because they're backing up and stuff. So if I'm just kind of hanging out watching the game, I need to watch the game. I don't need to actually watch Chiswick and Freeze and those guys talk about the game.
Right.
So, because like I said, it's Chiswick, Freeze. I think it's named Sam Washington. He's the head coach in North Carolina A&T, and then like one or two other ones that I'm kind of forget. Oh, Dave Clawson, the head coach at Wake Forest, is on there. Maybe somebody else. I don't know.
I won't watch much of that.
No, you're going to be watching Eli Gold. You're going to turn to the Alabama hometown channel.
Probably won't watch much of that either. I'll just watch the main one.
If Alabama was blowing them out, I might flip over to the Ohio State hometown channel for a little while.
Well, no, I might do that just for the.
I mean, I can do 5-10 minutes there. If
maybe
it's
they'll
right.
say, "Was it worth it?"
Might be like their whole fourth quarter. We really just shouldn't even be here.
We should. This is ridiculous.
What's the attendance tonight?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's in Dallas, so not Dallas. It's in Miami,
It's in Miami.
50%, right?
Is it?
I think.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Watchability high on all the NFL games this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
All in all the way around?
I mean, read me the schedule again. I'll give you 1 to 10.
Yeah, sure. NFL schedule. Divisional round. I know it's a bad pod. 2 seconds.
Blake says last year's basketball season was stopped right before the SEC tourney. No chance of that this year.
We do not think conference tournaments are happening.
I don't think there will be a conference tournament. I agree with Chase. I think the NCAA tournament will happen come hell or high water because all of a sudden the NCAA will be ruled by corporate.
They'd have to play the tournament, so you do everything in the world to play
that
the
nasty
tournament.
greed that we heard about is going to suddenly be an NCAA issue. And yes, Matt, he will be searching his name on every TV timeout.
No, come on. No way.
Shh.
You think he'll want like real-time analysis of like whatever the...
Of what people are saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
like when he goes to commercial, or like he pulls it up and goes, okay, they like when I said that.
Yeah,
I'll do a little more of that.
There's no question.
But he'll take the advice both ways. If they're like, hey, he was talking too much, he'll stop. He'll back off.
Well, he'll yell at Johnny 42782. He'll say,
who might or might not be 12 years old.
yeah.
If Tennessee fans are in
Or
here.
might or might not even be a real person. Yeah, who knows?
I'll have to flip it over at some point. I won't be able to help myself. But all right, let's see. Rams, Packers, Lambeau Field, 3:35 on Fox.
Okay, this is probably the lowest of the games. This is a 7.
7's the lowest.
2 and 8. Yeah. I'm interested. Can the Rams stay with them? It's Aaron Donald and that group against Favre. I think this is the game that's got a chance. Not Favre, Rodgers. This is a game that's got a chance to get a little out of hand.
It's a great matchup, that Green Bay offense against that LA defense.
Yeah.
That's really entertaining. The problem is, can LA score at all? And I just don't know. Goff's going to freeze to death. I'm really in tune to it for a couple different reasons. I mean, even beyond the scar tissue, I kind of watch the Rams a lot because of Dylan. And if the Rams win and the Saints win, you'd get the MC title game back in New Orleans for the championship game. So I'm pretty locked in on that, but there's a lot of reasons beyond just the football on the page. Yeah, from a just football on the page standpoint, the redeeming thing for me is just that one matchup on that side of the ball because I do love the Rams defense.
Oh, it's great.
And Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal. So that's fun to me. The other side's kind of comatose, but I'm pretty high. It's like an 8.5 for me on that game.
Okay.
Baltimore at Buffalo, Lamar Jackson against the Bills, Orchard Park, 7:15 on Saturday night.
Ooh. Oh, it's super high.
I don't love watching Baltimore for some reason.
Well, no, but I'm Lamar Jackson's
He's dynamic as hell.
He's fun to watch. And then Buffalo's a great story, and Josh Allen's fun to watch, frankly. No, this is a 9 on a 1 to 10. Locked in. Wouldn't miss it. Light the grill. The whole thing.
You're just in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
On Sunday, Cleveland and Kansas City, 2:05.
Oh, it's a 9.
Cleveland's got to hang on a little for me. I have in my head this feels blowout.
Yeah.
Potentially.
But I'm still in.
No, I'm in, but
Yeah.
I'm aware of what I might be watching at 3:30 if it goes sideways.
Sure.
The golf tournament might get a peek at 3:30 if
Yeah.
it starts getting a little blowoutish.
But it's got fun written all over it.
It does. If Cleveland makes it a game, it might have the most fun of any game all weekend written all over it.
I'm going to tell you, their offense looked fantastic
It did.
last night.
He's quieted, folks, now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the crow is. I'd
But
like
Baker,
some hot sauce, but I need a fork. There's a lot to eat.
he's good.
No, he was beyond good. He was beyond good. It's time to talk about Baker for what Baker is, and he's a winner.
A playoffs-capable quarterback of taking you through it.
Went to Pittsburgh and won a playoff game.
Yeah. Means something.
Means a lot.
Then your nightcap, 5:40 on Sunday, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Brady and Breeze, and the whole gang back
10.
together. Do what? It's a
10.
It's a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Saints have destroyed them in the 2 regular season matchups.
It's Tom Brady and Drew Brees in
Yeah.
a playoff game.
That's fun.
It's the Saints. It's the Bucks. It's a chance for the Saints to get to the NFC title game.
Still trying to chase that legacy a little bit.
I think we're all acknowledging now that
This is it.
this is it.
Last shot.
Every game is potentially Drew Brees' final game.
Yeah.
I think we're acknowledging that. This is the closing of a window. This is
It's a closing of the window, but they really are. I mean, again, I'm not saying they're going to be great next year, but they're only losing the quarterback. The rest of the team is, frankly, the best team they've put together during the run.
no, but when I said the window, I mean
You mean
the Drew
Brees.
Brees window.
Yeah, I get it.
And, a guy who, when we write the history books on what he meant to the NFL, what he meant to the Saints, what he meant to the city of New Orleans.
He kept them in New Orleans.
This is his opportunity, one last chance, one last ride. And then you have Tom Brady, who's got a chance, if he wins this game on Sunday, to be one win away from taking Tampa to the Super Bowl on a year where New England couldn't replace him.
Mm-hmm.
To playing the Super Bowl in Tampa.
Just takes his GOAT status to like this level that you can't even reach up there somewhere.
Takes it to a Jordan status.
Yeah, it's
and in some ways, in terms of all-time GOATs, this would be the equivalent. Don't get me wrong, I think the Bucs are going to lose Sunday. But it would be what would have been if Jordan had gone to the Wizards and taken them to the finals. Like, whoa. It's the Wizards.
And the Bucs have built for a while. They've had a good team around him. But
Yeah, but there's something about him. And so here we go. To me, this is on a 1 to 10, it's a 10. Locked in. I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, but really the only just not unbelievably sexy thing about this game is just that it's Tampa. You know what I mean? Like, just as a franchise standpoint, it's kind of the only thing that...
Yeah, but I think the fact that it's Brady in Tampa
supersedes
makes
that.
the Tampa interesting.
He's picking them up.
Because,
bootstraps
he won
and the
all
whole
these
deal.
games. Well, he won all these games in New England, and everybody goes, well, but he had Belichick.
Yeah.
Ain't no Belichick on this sideline. I mean, as I look at him, I don't see Belichick. Looks like Bruce Arians to me.
Screaming and ranting and doing what Bruce does.
Kind of makes you start wondering if the whole deal in New England was about Brady. That just maybe it's a quarterback league.
It's a quarterback league.
And he's the best.
He's
And over 2 decades, he's been the best.
playing really well right now. I mean,
So, yeah, am I in on that one? Locked in. I mean, if I were a Saints fan or a Bucks fan, it would be squeezy. As someone who doesn't care, who wins the game, wouldn't miss it.
how long do you think Brady has left? How critical is it Tampa do it right now? Does Brady have 3 more in him?
No.
2 more in him?
Maybe 1 more. I mean, he's in his 40s,
He's
man. I
43.
mean, you just can't count on
He just
that.
passed George Blanda for the oldest player in a playoff game.
He's amazing. But to count on
But he
Tom-
doesn't look as old as Drew does.
No, he doesn't. But to count
I know Father Time's beating at his back. I mean, I
but
get it.
come on. I mean, that fastball is going to disappear soon. Father Time beats everybody. Go back and watch Muhammad Ali at the end of his career. He's not the same as when he was rope-a-doping. And I mean, Father Time gets his. Watch Jordan in those Wizards years. And if you drop somebody in and you go, that guy right there, he's the best that's ever played. That guy would be like, wait, what? Watch Kobe at the end. That moment's going to come for all of them. It does. It comes for all of them. Nolan Ryan at the end lost something off his fastball.
Mm-hmm.
Nolan freaking Ryan. Yeah, so no, this is if your quarterback's 43, your window's just barely open. Look around the NFL. I mean, look around. Tell me, oh yeah, we're fine. No, there's other teams coming.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get yours. No, this is a huge game, and the winner of this game, to me, has a real shot in Green Bay.
They're built in a way that makes sense.
Because I think Green Bay gets real nervous in NFC title game.
Yeah,
Tom Brady's not scared of weather, and Drew Brees isn't scared of weather. They can play games in weather.
Well, they run the ball. They have defense. I mean,
Yeah.
You don't have to throw it around the yard.
Both of those teams are capable of beating the Packers.
The Packers, look, deserve the 1 seed. They've had a phenomenal freaking year. But these Final Four, I know the Rams have some injuries in golf and whatnot, but they did not get a great draw on everybody else remaining because there's no team where you go, oh, that's kind of a soft team. It's got to do this. No, all three can show up and just pound you a little bit. They'll play in the weather. They'll play in whatever they get in Lambeau the rest of the way. So, yeah, I mean, I'll need some Rolaids, but I think you're right. It's up there. It's very, very high just for the quarterback angle. It's a
classic.
It's a 10. Yeah, it's a 10.
It's a classic. Either Drew Brees or Tom Brady will walk off that field that day, and we'll all wonder, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the last time we're going to see that legend?
And the other guy's 1 game away from getting back.
And the other guy's 1 game away from going to a Super Bowl. And I think for both of them, if you told me Tom Brady won a Super Bowl in Tampa this year, I think he walks away.
He should. Make all the sense in the world. The lines, if you care about those, want to bet around a little bit, Green Bay is giving 7 to the LA Rams this weekend. Buffalo opened at 3, now at 2.5. Buffalo giving 2.5 to the Ravens. Then on your Sunday games, Kansas City giving 10.5 to the Browns. It opened at 9. It's jumped up to 10.5. And then in that nightcap we talked about, line coming down. It opened up kind of high, but early money on the Bucks opened at 5.5. Now the Saints giving 3. So that line's dropped 2.5 points over the course of the last 12 hours or so there for Tampa Bay and New Orleans. So should be fun, should be awesome, should be all those different things. Can't wait.
That'd be great. Rather your team be there than not be there.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. It feels different being the end of an era, though. It feels different than 2011, 2012,
Sure.
2015, whatever.
Sure.
Where
this is it. He's not coming back next year. He's done.
Oh, no, he's finished.
He's done. Going to go concentrate on other things. I've told you the rumor in the industry is that he has a broadcasting gig lined up, contract agreed to.
A Romo kind of deal?
Yeah.
To do the games?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the strong rumor.
It's also a good segue for a guy who doesn't, you can still kind of stay in it. There's some travel. You know what I mean? You're not just, I'm going to sit at home and do this, and I might do some analysis work for 10 minutes, but you're kind of still in it, if you will. It's a good segue, Hen.
I'm sure his wife has said, hey, we've got our money. You've got your health. The kids he likes coaching his kids and stuff. Time to move on. He'd love to move on with another Super Bowl.
Obviously, this is only AFC quarterbacks, but we just got a message on Twitter a second ago, speaking of what we're talking about. List of quarterbacks over the past 25 years to win a playoff game at Pittsburgh. Baker Mayfield, Blake Bortles, Joe Flacco, David Garrard, Tom Brady, and John Elway. List.
Pretty short list.
Did you see where it was the Ravens? They're like 11-5 all time away from home in playoff games or something.
Really?
Have like a crazy winning percentage away from Baltimore in the playoffs.
He's a lot better coach than he gets credit for. John Harbaugh
he's done a good
doesn't
job.
get much credit at all. Just kind of floats under the radar.
Is he both their title? No, who was the coach for their other title? Was it him?
Yeah.
Has he been there that long?
No.
No, who was it?
No, it was Brian Billick.
That's right. It's Brian Billick. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. He still do broadcast stuff?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't either. I have no clue. Basketball's Georgia at 11. Is that right?
Florida tomorrow at 6.
Right. Yeah.
And then home Saturday at 11 against Georgia. So I'll watch with
glee.
It's hard to flip from NFL playoffs to a college basketball game in an empty arena. It's hard to make that sports transition, I learned on Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd been watching high-level, intense NFL playoffs on TV, and then you flip to LSU at Ole Miss, and it's a 20-point game in an empty arena, and there's no student section, there's no noise, it's just kind of there, and it's a tough watch. I mean, a lot of people agreed with me. Like, I couldn't keep watching. The product isn't great. Like, I watched some of Auburn and Alabama, which was a high-level game and ended up being pretty entertaining, but it took me a minute to get used to that game's usually a lot of fans in the stands, students yelling at the Alabama players. Because the game was at Auburn, so you got the Auburn students getting all over the Alabama players, and that's fun and all that stuff. And that's not there, and it's harder to watch it.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Visit Oxford. Visit Oxford.com.
Grind says there ain't no end for LeBron. That could be true. If LeBron's still playing at 56, I might go, well, that was the guy.
Yeah, sure, whatever. PopUpOxford.com. You can see all the different events and cultural things they have going on here in this January, including the 2021 Fiber Arts Festival. A little different look, different feel. Some of it virtual this year from the 1st to the 23rd. They got the Fiber Fluency Powerhouse exhibit by the Chimneyville Weavers and Spinners Gold Cooperative. From the 15th to the 23rd, they have Fiber on the Square. You can come see Fiber Art located at 3 different locations, including Faulkner Alley, Oxford Square North, and the William Faulkner statue dressed for the fest in front of City Hall. You got an outdoor fabric swap at the Powerhouse January 15th to 23rd as well, and much more. Knitting and sewing circles on Zoom on the 17th, and many more events throughout the month. You can find out more at fiber.oxfordarts.com.
We're also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. If you're looking for a unique Valentine's gift, highly recommend Blue Delta Jeans. It's bluedeltajeans.com. Jump in there, social media, send them a direct message, and make an appointment for you and your special one for a private fitting at Blue Delta Jeans. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with a personal touch. You speak directly with the person. There's no 10 buttons to push, no 5 minutes to wait. If you want to learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Whitney McNutt, Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573. 662-842-3844. And we're brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss & Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi that is made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched, and you can tap into that by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth or by calling them at 662-287-1620. And if you're coming to town, no visit here is complete without a stop at LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue in Oxford, right across from Kroger. Get in touch with Greg Jones and the people there. Try all the different sausages, the Giordana sausages. I can't say the word, but you know what I'm talking about. Giardiana.
Oh, yeah.
All the different sausages with that, the chicken, the ribeye, beef, seafood's there as well. It's all there at LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue in Oxford.
It was one hell of a flop by LeBron last night.
I didn't see that.
You know,
Carson and I, our NBA conversation yesterday consisted of, Dad, I'm a little worried the Thunder's too good. And me saying, I think it's a legitimate worry. They go to New York and they sweep the Knicks and the Nets.
Are they a playoff team? And I know the 8 seed, you might as well not be. I mean, I get
probably not a playoff team, but I'm beginning to worry that their 3 young players are better than people thought they were, and that Al Horford is doing in Oklahoma City what every other aging vet does in Oklahoma City, which is find the fountain of youth.
Shows up when he really doesn't need to.
I mean, people are looking at Al like, hey, we traded for you because you have a bad contract. That's
Stop.
it. That's it.
Quit.
Go suck. And he's not sucking. He's actually playing pretty well.
They're currently in, I mean, we're only 9 games in, obviously, but they're currently in the 8 seed.
Yeah, they probably need to reevaluate what they're doing.
The
but
West
it's hard
is
to tell,
good enough.
It's hard to tell young players don't play well.
What's Florida like tomorrow night? Is that a terrible matchup? Decent matchup? I mean, no one's got to score.
It's an okay matchup. They're gonna do what Mike White teams do. They're gonna play good on defense. They're gonna be pretty disciplined on offense. There's no Keontae Johnson, so of course it's a major loss for them in terms of basketball production. But they have good players. They can shoot. Ole Miss will have to shoot better. Simple as that, and they've not proven they can do that. I don't even know what the line is. I hadn't even looked. Is there a line out on that game?
Typically, nope, later in the day, or tomorrow even.
It's an earlier game tomorrow, so let's see if there's a line on it.
Two NBA games called off for COVID tonight.
Oh, really? Who?
Pels, Mavs, and Celtics, Bulls.
Yeah, the NBA is really serious about the COVID stuff. Ole Miss is a 4-point underdog at Florida in all 3 books that are offering the game. So pretty even.
That feels about right.
Alabama and Kentucky play tomorrow night. That'll be a good game. Alabama, a 1.5-point underdog at Rupp. Tennessee, a 13-point favorite over Vanderbilt. Philadelphia fired Peterson.
Really?
It's according to our friend Luke Zettler in the thread. I'm going to assume that Luke's not making that up.
Really? Wow. Yep. Sports Center, 44 seconds ago, Doug Peterson has been fired as the Eagles coach. I didn't see that coming.
Well, when he completely alienated Carson Wentz, even though Carson Wentz might not be their guy, the way that went down, I thought,
There's a ton of fans in Cleveland at the airport when they got back in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. Ton of Browns fans.
Good.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Think that was the end for Ben Roethlisberger? Was he walking away?
Yeah, it felt like the end, didn't it?
Looked like the end.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Speaking of the person we were not exactly bragging on earlier, Nicole Auerbach named the National Sports Media Sports Writer of the Year.
Nicole was?
Yeah. I'd like to see a group of panelists for that, but nonetheless. Flipping through Twitter right now.
Her avatar wears a mask.
Really?
Like the cartoon mask.
College Hall of Fame class being pointed out today, too. I see Darren Sproles is in it. Let's see what else. 2021 College Hall of Fame class, Harris Barton, David Fulcher, Dan Morgan, Carson Palmer, Tony Romo, Kenneth Sims, C.J. Spiller, Darren Sproles, Aaron Taylor, Andre Tippett, and Al Wilson. So a few SEC, or actually, just one SEC member in that, and that is Al Wilson, linebacker for Tennessee, 1995 to 1998. Not a lot of other news there. Yeah, the Peterson stuff is kind of breaking everywhere now.
That's significant. How do you move something out of spam?
There's the little box where you can move it to a different folder, so you just choose inbox out of that.
Did
you find it?
I think I screwed it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Getting some tickets for the girls for something.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I know that's great pod.
Chris Fallick, a Bear from College Game Day, says, in terms of playing tonight, I think it's lay the 8-5 with Alabama and take OSU on the money line. If it lands on one of those, you profit. I don't think close Alabama win is in the cards. Either Bama is much better in rolls or Ohio State wins outright. There.
I think Alabama rolls.
What it feels like.
I really do.
Yeah, I just think they're better. I mean,
yeah, I do
so
too.
that's 7 coaching vacancies in the NFL right now.
Really?
Yeah. Jags, Chargers, Lions, Jets, Falcons, Texans, Eagles. It's almost 25% of the league right now. Currently.
Wow.
One coach away from 25% of the league being unemployed.
Nagy been fired yet?
He's not, no.
That's too bad.
I think he's going to hold on. Don't you?
I mean, I guess.
Here's a stat for you. Ron Rivera is now the longest tenured head coach in the NFC East. He was hired December 31st, 2019.
Wow. That's just remarkable.
It's pretty funny. That's good. They think Peterson has a chance. Adam Schefter reporting now that Doug Peterson is probably a candidate for the New York Jets job.
Well, that's what usually happens. You get recycled.
Yeah,
you go to a new place.
Especially a guy like that who's had
success. He's a good coach, yeah.
Yeah, he's not done. He can get a job immediately if he would like to find one. I guess it does it. We'll recap plenty of college football stuff tomorrow. Again, tonight, Alabama, Ohio State, 7 o'clock. The line is up to 9 in this game. Bama by 9 currently. Reading from the front of ESPN.com for that one. Bama the 1 seed, Ohio State 3 seed from a playoff standpoint. So we'll discuss that, reactions, a little more NFL tomorrow, and whatever else comes to mind as we move toward the next round of NFL playoffs this weekend. Again, Ole Miss in Florida tomorrow night, so we might hit that a little bit as well. But nonetheless, thanks for hanging out today. Appreciate you as always. And we'll